Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about what it really takes to get ahead in life. Not just survive, but thrive. Not just make it, but make it count. Now, getting ahead doesn't mean stepping over people. It means stepping into your potential. It means creating a life of value, not just income, but impact. So what do you need? First, you need a philosophy. Everything starts there. Your personal philosophy determines how you see the world and how you show up in it. If your philosophy is weak, your results will be weak. But if your philosophy is strong, even the storms of life can't shake your foundation. Second, you need discipline. Without it, you'll drift. With it, you can climb mountains. Discipline is the bridge between what you know and what you do. It's easy to skip today. It's easy to relax, but the price of neglect is far too high. Third, you need to value time. Time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you can't get more time. Respect your time, schedule your days, and remember, either you run the day or the day runs you. Fourth, you need to learn daily. Formal education can make you a living, but self-education can make you a fortune. Read books, listen to thinkers, study success, sharpen your mind. Because if you keep learning, you keep earning in every sense of the word. Fifth, you need to associate wisely. Who you spend time with shapes your habits, your beliefs, even your future. If you're around winners, you'll start thinking like one. Choose people who lift you up and be someone who lifts others too. Sixth, you need goals. Clear, compelling, written down goals. Don't just work hard, work with purpose. Know what you're aiming for or you'll hit anything that comes along. And not all targets are worth hitting. Seventh, you need to master communication. Your ability to speak, write, and connect will open more doors than any degree. Words are powerful. They can move hearts, shift minds, and build legacies. Eighth, you need to serve others. Contribution is the secret to fulfillment. When you help enough people get what they want, you'll never lack for what you need. The more you give, the more comes back, and not just in money. Ninth, you need to develop resilience. Life is not a straight line. There are detours, delays, even disasters. But setbacks are setups. If you choose to grow from them, get up one more time, then you fall. That's how progress is made. And finally, you need faith in yourself, in the process, and in the future. Even when it's hard, even when no one claps. Faith is believing in the harvest even before you see the seed sprout. That belief alone can carry you through the dark. So what do you need to get ahead in life? Your personal philosophy is the foundation for everything. It's the way you see life, how you interpret events, and how you choose to respond. And here's the truth. You don't get ahead by chance, you get ahead by design. And that design starts in your thinking. Now, some people never take time to sit down and examine their beliefs. They inherit ideas from parents, teachers, society, and never question whether those ideas are serving them or holding them back. But if you want real change, lasting progress, you've got to evaluate what you believe about success, work, relationships, money, time, and yourself. Ask yourself, what do I believe about effort? Do I think the world owes me something, or do I believe that I must earn it? Do I see problems as obstacles or as opportunities to grow? These questions matter because your thoughts shape your actions and your actions shape your future. If your philosophy says hard work pays off, you'll work with energy. If your philosophy says it's all hopeless, you'll hesitate, procrastinate, and settle. So it's not just about motivation, it's about renovation. You've got to renovate your philosophy until it lines up with the kind of life you want to live. And here's the beautiful part, you can change it. You can take in better ideas, stronger principles, and more empowering beliefs. You can choose to study people who have walked the road before you. Learn what they learned, do what they did. Success leaves clues, but you've got to go looking. Your income, your happiness, your relationships, they all flow from your philosophy. It's like the root system of a tree. If the roots are deep and strong, the tree can weather the storm. But if the roots are shallow, a small wind can bring it down. So build a philosophy that can carry you. One built on discipline, responsibility, growth, and gratitude. Start with that and everything else begins to change. Not overnight, but over time. And that's how you get ahead. Not just with effort, but with the right foundation. Discipline is the key that unlocks every door to success. It's the quiet force behind every great achievement. It doesn't shout, it doesn't show off, but it shows up every single day. And if you want to get ahead in life, you have to master this one thing, doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Now, it's easy to make a promise, easy to get excited, easy to write down goals on January 1st. But what really matters is what you do on January 2nd and every day after that. That's where discipline comes in. See, emotion gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. It's the habit of following through. You can't rely on motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel fired up, some days you don't. But discipline is steady. Discipline doesn't care how you feel, it only cares what you do. And the truth is, your feelings will lie to you. They'll say, take it easy, you deserve a break. It's okay to skip today. But discipline says do it anyway. You don't have to be extreme, you just have to be consistent. Discipline isn't about working 20 hours a day or grinding yourself into the ground. It's about doing the little things over and over until they become second nature. It's waking up when you said you would. It's finishing what you started. It's making the call, writing the page, showing up to the gym, not once in a while, but every day. And here's the beauty of it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust with yourself. You start to believe in your own word. And that builds confidence. That builds character. That builds a life you're proud of. But here's the flip side. Every time you break your own word, every time you quit early or put things off, you chip away at your self-respect. It might not show right away, but it adds up. That's how regret is born. Not in one big moment, but in 1,000 small compromises. Discipline is what separates the amateurs from the professionals. It's the difference between potential and performance. Everybody has potential, but only the disciplined few turn that potential into results. Because they do the work, not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard, when it's boring, when no one's watching. And here's the secret. Discipline doesn't take away your freedom. It gives you freedom. When you control your habits, your schedule, your focus, you take control of your life. Most people think freedom is doing whatever you want, but that's not freedom, that's drift. Real freedom is earned. It's the freedom that comes from self-mastery. You want freedom? Earn it through discipline. Earn it by choosing purpose over pleasure. Earn it by doing the uncomfortable thing now so you can enjoy the reward later. Because pain is part of the deal, but you get to choose which pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And the pain of discipline, it weighs ounces. The pain of regret, it weighs tons. So start small. Pick one habit, one promise, one area where you've been slipping, then show up for yourself, day in and day out. And over time, you'll build something extraordinary. Not because you were lucky, not because you were gifted, but because you were disciplined. And that, my friend, is how you move forward, one disciplined step at a time. Time is the most valuable resource you have. It's more precious than money, more powerful than talent, and more limited than any material thing. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't save it. You can't store it. You can't rewind it. And that's why how you treat your time determines the direction of your life. Most people don't lose their future because of one big mistake. They lose it 5 minutes at a time. 10 minutes here, an hour there, scrolling, drifting, chatting, delaying, and then they look up, and 5 years have passed. Not because they didn't work hard, but because they didn't respect the clock. See, time is like a bank account with invisible withdrawals. Every morning you wake up with a deposit 24 hours, and whether you invest it or waste it, it gets spent. No refunds, no rollovers, no pause buttons. So the question isn't, do you have time? The question is, what are you doing with the time you have? Respecting your time means you live with intention. You stop treating your day like it's unlimited. You stop saying yes to every distraction, every demand, every person who wants a piece of you. It means you schedule your priorities instead of prioritizing whatever shows up. Time management isn't just about being busy. Busy doesn't mean productive. There are people working 12 hours a day and still going nowhere. That's not success. That's motion without meaning. Respecting your time means you measure your results, not just your effort. You don't just ask, what did I do today? You ask, did what I do today move me forward? You've got to become ruthless with your calendar. Not cold, not selfish, but disciplined. Learn to protect your mornings. Guard your evenings. Turn off what doesn't matter. You don't owe your attention to everyone who asked for it. You owe your attention to your goals, your values, your future. And here's the secret. When you respect your time, other people start respecting it too. But if you treat your time like it's cheap, don't be surprised when others treat it the same way. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. There's a reason the most successful people in the world are obsessed with how they use their time. It's because they understand the clock is always ticking. They know the difference between being busy and being effective. They don't fill their day, they focus their day. They don't chase everything, they choose what matters. And yes, time will test you. It will give you moments to waste, temptations to entertain, shortcuts to take. But the ones who get ahead, they don't just spend time. They invest it into learning, into relationships, into habits, into creation, into building something that lasts longer than the moment. And the truth is, most people don't need more time. What they need is more clarity, more focus, more commitment. Because when you know what matters, it's easier to say no to what doesn't. When your life has direction, your time has value. So from now on, treat your time like a treasure. Don't give it away cheaply. Don't spend it carelessly. Spend it like it matters, because it does. The future you want isn't waiting for someday. It's waiting inside the hours you already have. And how you use those hours, that's what makes the difference between living by default and living by design. Learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of progress. Everything you want, everything you hope to become, starts with your willingness to learn. Not once, but for a lifetime. Lifelong learning isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's not just a phase. It's a way of life. See, the world doesn't stay the same, and neither can you. The moment you stop learning, you start falling behind. Not always immediately, but eventually. Knowledge has a way of expiring if it's not refreshed. Skills fade if they're not sharpened. The mind gets dull when it's left idle. But when you commit to learning, really commit, life starts to open up in ways you never imagined. You have to become a student of life. You've got to be hungry for ideas, curious about how things work, eager to understand people, strategies, principles. You've got to read books like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. You've got to listen to the right voices, ask better questions, study those who've gone before you, because someone has already figured out what you're trying to figure out.
Why struggle blindly when the road has already been mapped? Formal education might give you a degree, but self-education gives you an edge. Most people stop learning the day they leave school. They hang the diploma on the wall and think the journey is done. But the diploma is just the starting line. The real education begins when you decide to grow on your own time, your own dime, with your own drive. And learning doesn't just come from books, it comes from people, from experiences, from mistakes, from failure. In fact, some of your best lessons will come wrapped in difficulty. But if you're paying attention, if you're willing to reflect, every challenge becomes a classroom. The key is to stay teachable. Pride will try to convince you that you already know enough. Ego will tell you you're above the basics. But the moment you think you've arrived, you stop progressing. Stay humble. Stay open. The wisest people in the world are still learning. Make learning a daily discipline. Even 15 minutes a day adds up. One page, one idea, one insight. Do that every day and you'll be amazed at where you are in a year. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, happening under the surface, one layer at a time. But it's happening, and one day it shows. Lifelong learners don't just survive in life. They thrive. They adapt faster. They think clearer. They lead better. They see opportunity where others see confusion, because their minds are awake, sharp, prepared, always ready. And here's the beauty of it. No one can stop you from learning. They can take your job, your title, your money, but they can't take your mind. That's yours. What you fill it with, how you sharpen it, that's your responsibility and your reward. So commit to it. Invest in it. Make it a non-negotiable. Don't go a day without feeding your mind. Because if you keep learning, you keep growing. If you keep moving forward, and if you keep moving forward, life can't help but open doors for you. Doors that stay locked to those who stopped learning long ago. Lifelong learning isn't just about getting ahead. It's about becoming more. And the more you become, the more you can give, the more you can lead, the more you can live. That's the power of learning. It doesn't just change what you do. It changes who you are. Your environment matters. The people you spend time with, they matter. A lot more than most people realize. If you want to change your life, one of the fastest ways to do it is to change the people you're around. Because the truth is, who you walk with determines how far you go. Take a look at your circle. Really look. Are the people around you pushing you forward or pulling you back? Are they lifting your standards or lowering them? Are they feeding your vision or feeding your doubt? You become like the people you spend the most time with. Not sometimes, but every time. It's almost automatic. Their language becomes your language. Their habits become your habits. Their thinking becomes your thinking. If they complain, you start to complain. If they make excuses, you start making excuses. But if they set goals, pursue excellence, think big, you'll find yourself rising to meet that level. So be selective. Be intentional. Don't just fall into relationships. Choose them. Choose people who are going somewhere. People who have integrity. People who are disciplined. People who make you think. People who make you better. Not perfect people, just growth-minded people. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're the most ambitious one in your circle, you need a new circle. You want to be surrounded by those who challenge you, not discourage you. People who see your potential and remind you of it when you forget. People who tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear. And listen, this doesn't mean you cut off everyone who's struggling. We're all human. We all fall short. But there's a difference between someone going through a tough season and someone who lives in negativity. One is temporary. The other is a trap. Don't get stuck in someone else's comfort zone. Sometimes the hardest part about growth is outgrowing people. But if staying connected means staying small, you've got to have the courage to move on. Because you can't soar like an eagle while hanging out with pigeons. You can love people from a distance. You can care without being entangled. But you've got to protect your future. Winners think different. They act different. They talk different. And when you're around them, something inside you changes. Your standards rise. Your vision sharpens. You stop playing small. You stop settling for good enough. You start realizing what's possible. The company you keep will either accelerate your growth or sabotage it. So build a circle that reflects your future, not your past. A circle that speaks possibility, not limitation. A circle that talks ideas, not just people. A circle that doesn't just tolerate your ambition, but inspires it. You want to change your income? Get around people who earn more than you. You want to get fit? Spend time with people who take care of their bodies. You want to think bigger? Listen to people who dream boldly and live with purpose. Their energy is contagious, and so is their discipline. Never underestimate the power of proximity. Sometimes just being in the same room with the right people can shift your perspective, reignite your drive, and remind you of what you're capable of. So surround yourself with winners, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you owe it to yourself to become the best version of you. And the right people will help bring that out. They'll sharpen you, stretch you, strengthen you, and in return, you do the same for them. That's how you grow. That's how you rise. That's how you get ahead. Not alone, but with the right people beside you. If you don't have a target, you can't hit it. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. But don't be surprised if it's not where you wanted to end up. That's why setting clear goals is not just important, it's essential. It's the starting point of all achievement. Goals give your life direction. They give your days meaning. Without them, you're just reacting to whatever comes your way. Working hard, staying busy, but never really making progress. But when you have clear goals, you move with purpose. You start living by design, not by default. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful or I want to be happy. That's too vague. The mind doesn't respond to fuzziness. Success has to be specific. You've got to decide what you want, down to the details. Define it, describe it, write it down. Because a goal unwritten is just a wish, and wishes don't work, but plans do. When you set a clear goal, you do more than just imagine a better future. You create a standard for your life. You begin to measure your time, your energy, your actions against something real. You start asking, is this getting me closer to my goal? And just that question alone can change everything. Goals bring focus. When you've got a goal, distractions lose their power. Temptations shrink. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes to the right things, because now you have a reason, a why, that guides your decisions. But don't just set goals for what you want to get. Set goals for who you want to become. Set goals for your health, your relationships, your character. Set goals that make you stretch, make you grow, make you better. Because the real value in a goal isn't what you get, it's what you become in the process. Start with long-term vision, but bring it into the short term. Break it down. Ask yourself, what does the next year look like? The next 90 days? The next week? What can I do today that moves me toward it? That's where the magic is, turning vision into action, big dreams into small steps. And don't just set goals once a year and forget about them. Review them, revisit them, adjust them if needed. Life changes, and your goals can evolve too. But don't abandon them at the first sign of difficulty. Remember, the purpose of a goal isn't to be easy, it's to be worth it. You'll hit some, and you'll miss some. That's okay. Missing the goal doesn't make you a failure. Quitting does. So stay committed, stay focused, learn from every setback, course correct, and keep going. The simple truth is, people without goals usually end up working for people who have them. If you don't decide what you want out of life, life will decide for you. And chances are it won't be what you had in mind. So set clear goals. Make them big enough to inspire you, but specific enough to guide you. Write them down. Look at them often. Let them pull you forward. Because once you have clarity on what you want, and you combine that with discipline, effort, and time, there is very little you can't achieve. And that's how you change your life. One clear goal at a time. Communication is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the tool that turns ideas into influence, thoughts into action, and intentions into results. If you want to lead, sell, teach, build relationships, grow your business, or simply get ahead in life, you have to master your communication. Now, communication isn't just about talking. A lot of people talk, but very few connect. Words are everywhere, but powerful communication, that's rare. That's what sets people apart. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. It's the tone, the timing, the clarity, the confidence, and the intention behind your message. People will judge you fairly or unfairly by the way you speak. If you speak with hesitation, people hesitate to trust you. If you speak with conviction, people pay attention. Your ability to express yourself can open doors, build bridges, and influence the right people at the right time. Want more opportunity? Get better at expressing value. Want better relationships? Learn how to listen deeply. Because communication is a two-way street. It's not just your ability to speak well, it's your ability to understand well, to make the other person feel seen, heard, and understood. Listening is half the equation, and most people miss it. They're too busy waiting for their turn to talk. But when you really listen, when you tune in, ask thoughtful questions, and stay present, people feel that. And people remember how you made them feel. Clarity is power. If you can't explain your idea simply, you probably don't understand it well enough. Learn to simplify. Learn to articulate. Don't dress your message up in complicated language to impress people. Strip it down to its essence so it reaches people. And here's the thing. Communication is a skill. That means it can be learned. It can be practiced. It can be improved. Don't make the mistake of thinking it's just for speakers, authors, or extroverts. It's for everyone. Because no matter what you do, you're in the people business. You're always selling something. An idea, a product, a belief, yourself. So sharpen your skills. Read books on communication. Watch great communicators. Study how they pause, how they emphasize, how they tell stories. Storytelling is one of the most powerful tools you have. Facts tell, but stories sell. A good story can bypass resistance and connect straight to the heart. Be intentional with your words. Words can build, and words can destroy. Words can lift someone up or shut them down. Choose them wisely. Speak to build people, to build trust, to build bridges. Speak in a way that reflects your character, your values, your vision. And remember, body language is communication. Your posture, your eye contact, your facial expressions, they all speak, even when your mouth doesn't. People pick up more from your presence than from your paragraphs. You don't have to be flashy. You don't have to be loud. You just have to be real. Be clear. Be honest. Be intentional. That's what connects. That's what moves people. And the more you grow in this area, the more influence you carry, the more trust you build, the more you can lead. Because in the end, it's not enough to have a good idea. You've got to communicate it. You've got to transfer belief. You've got to help people feel it, not just understand it. So work on your words, polish your message, practice your presence, and keep growing. Because when you master your communication, you don't just find your voice, you give power to your vision. And that's when things really begin to change.